say go to view. Testing. Okay, hi. Media, really quickly, before we get started, we're actually going to do the interviews in the back with the main event fighters and the co-main. So make your way to the back. Testing. Hi, everybody. Just want to let you know we are so sorry for the delay. We're just waiting on Mr. Mayweather, and he is on his way. It's just he's stuck in a little bit of traffic, but we are going to get started as soon as possible. And again, we apologize for the delay.
Hey everybody, when we're waiting to get started, I just want to let you know, tickets go on sale Friday, but there's a pre-sale, a special pre-sale today. So any of you who are here, if you walk up to the box office, you can get tickets before anybody else.
Okay, media, can I have you take your seats, please? Media, please make your way to your seats. We are going to start a portion of this press conference right now. Okay, also every fighter from Brooklyn who's here in the back, every fighter from New York State, please make your way to the side of the stage. Any fighter who's been invited to come here from New York, please make your way to the side of the stage. I can ask Sam, or I'll ask Andrew.
They put that together a list? I think they did. Are you sure? Is it the ball goes in?
at the end in case you want to say if
Yeah,
people like
I'm
me
just going
want-
to point to her.
I'll just like sit right here at the end.
Yes.
My 15 seconds already. Who wrote this? Did you write notes?
No. Those cards. Okay. Before we start the formal press conference for Jack and DeGale, can I get everybody's attention, please? And anyone in the back, can you please move forward? Before we start with the formal section of the press conference, we wanted to take some time to talk about the issue that's now facing boxing in New York with the passage of a bill that got passed over the summer that inserted an insurance requirement that's not required in any state in the union other than New York, that's not required in any country in the world, and that only exists here. And the problem with the insurance is not that we don't want to protect the health and safety of our fighters. We do. There's a provision in this new law that increased certain limits and made them equivalent to the best protections that fighters have anywhere in the country. What we're objecting to is a provision that got inserted, which in effect has ended boxing in New York. When we have the press conference in a few minutes to announce January 14th, what this effect is A, it's a call to action, that this law needs to be changed, that we need to be able to get insurance for boxing in New York. But it's also us taking our sport back. It's not okay to stop New York resident promoters, managers, fighters, inspectors, and people in the boxing business, to prevent them from earning a living. It's not okay. It's not okay to pass a law that goes into effect on September 1st with the knowledge that nobody in the state of New York is able to abide by it. Think about that. The law passed, it went into effect September 1st, and the insurance required is not available in the state of New York. No policy has been approved by New York State that boxing promoters can acquire to do a show in New York. When we start this press conference, we're going to start it with confidence, and you buy your tickets because I promise you there'll be a show January 14th. We have lawyers on it, we have insurance people on it, and we're going to pay whatever we have to pay for insurance to make sure that January 14th happens here. But that doesn't solve the bigger problem, because right now boxing is closed for business in the state of New York. And part of what I wanted to do here now, we're joined, by the way, by a dignitary, and I'm very, very grateful to have our borough president, our Brooklyn Borough President, Eric Adams, here with us. Thank you for your support. And to have Rosie Perez, who needs no introduction, but one of the greatest supporters of boxing that there is. But Boyd and Heather are up here because you need to see the faces of what was done here and what was created here. The idea that no New York fighter can earn a living right now in their own state is simply unacceptable. The idea that a law got passed supposedly to legalize MMA in New York, and the effect it had was to completely freeze the boxing industry and put us out of business temporarily, that is unacceptable, and there should be a state and federal investigation of how this happened. You know, I'm a simple guy, man. I grew up on Bedford Avenue in Brooklyn, and you know, we look at things very simply here. So if something doesn't look straight, you wonder if it's crooked. And that's where I am right now, because I can't figure out how this is being allowed to happen. And I'm very grateful to Mayweather Promotions, Floyd Mayweather, Leonard Ellerby, to Showtime, Stephen Espinoza, to the Barclays Center, Brett Yormark, to everyone involved in this promotion, who are all collectively standing up and saying enough's enough, we're announcing a fight card. And yeah, I promise you it's going to happen, but I'm not going to make believe that there's not a little bit of risk here, because there is. And you know, there are an awful lot of people in this room. You see Iran Barkley and Mark Breland standing here. There are fighters all over the room we invited. I'm not going to go through the names of them, but they're here. There are other promoters, Joe DeGuardi of Star Boxing. My Broadway boxing series right now is in effect out of New York. We're running Saturday night in Foxwoods in Connecticut because we have no choice. Star Boxing has had to move its shows out of New York. There is no Star Boxing series in New York right now. Judah Brothers Promotions, they're here. They can't run a show. There are loads of fighters here who are not active. And on the stage, I have a couple that I want to introduce to you. The first of which is a woman that's, she's been known as the First Lady of DBE. Now I'm lucky enough to have a number of First Ladies of DBE. But she's as recognizable figure as there is in women's boxing in New York. Heather has always fought at least every quarter. And she was going to fight in this building in what we hoped would have been a big fight card in December. And that fight card had to be canceled because of this issue. There was an October date being held in this building that had to be canceled because of this issue. And when Heather called me and said, do you have a fight for me? And you know, women's boxing, things are beginning to change. And you'll hear more about those changes soon, and it's a good thing. But female boxers have been totally reliant on their ability to fight where they're from, to have their fan base buy tickets, and to earn money based upon the fact they're attractions in the city or state in which they live. And Heather's become a very big attraction in New York. So whatever purse I would have paid her in December would have been increased by a percentage of the number of tickets she sold. And when Heather called me and said, you know, we got the fight in December, and I told her we didn't, she first cried, and then she realized that she's got a young daughter to support and an apartment to pay for in Dumbo, and she pulled herself together and made plans that she had to make to earn a living. So I'd like to bring up, to represent the people affected by this law, which, by the way, is not helping the health and safety of our fighters. They're running to other states that have worse protections than New York. They're fighting in states where all you need is an AIDS test. You don't even need a head test. They're leaving New York to go to places that their life's in danger because they can't earn a living in their own state. And I'd like the state assembly and the state senate, I'd like the legislators to explain to me why this happened. I'd like the governor's office to explain to me why nothing's been done to either freeze this or change this so that people can earn a living until it's fixed. Something's funky is going on here, and it needs to be fixed. And today is the first step in fixing it. So I'd first like to bring up Heather Hardy.
Hi. I think that sometimes legislators and lawmakers have trouble attaching a face to their choices. And this is my plea to the governor and to New York State to bring a resolution to this issue. I'm that face. I'm more than just a boxer. I'm a single parent, wondering how I'm going to put food on the table and pay my rent since the December show here has been canceled. This sport of boxing is bigger than the people in the ring. This is our livelihood, and I'm asking you, please don't take that away. I'd also like to announce that thanks to Lou DeBella and Shannon Knapp, I'll be making my MMA debut with Invicta the first quarter of this year, early this year. I'm not leaving boxing. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be right back here with boxing in March, hopefully for my first world title shot. MMA embraces its female fighters, and 2016 was showing so many strides towards equality for female boxers. Thanks to promoters like Lou DeBella and Mr. Mayweather, women are seeing opportunities that were almost unheard of 5 years ago. So thank you, and I really look forward to keeping the momentum going next year.
You know, I failed to mention the New York State Athletic Commission. And since I'm going to have to work with them, and I've always been able to work effectively with them, I don't want to insult everybody, but at the moment, you're putting me out of work, so I'm going to say what I got to say. And New York State Athletic Commission, you were given the authority by the law to make regulations that would alter the law, if necessary. Well, if putting us out of business doesn't make that necessary, what does? And maybe you shouldn't have jobs any longer, guys, because with no boxing, you're simply not doing that much, are you? So I'd like to see something, some indication, even some reach out to the fighters, some public statement from the commission that they care about people like Heather, that they care about the fighters that are in this room that are unable to earn a living right now, that they care about Joe DeGuardia's employees and my employees who are sitting there worrying about 2017. And if not for the power of a Floyd Mayweather and a Showtime and a Barclays Center, we wouldn't be standing here today. And even standing here today, we're doing it almost as an act of, I don't want to say disobedience, but an act of like saying it's a call to arms. We're doing a fight card January 14th, people. You know, figure out a way to help us do it. Boyd Melson is a captain in the United States Army Reserve. As good a person as I've ever promoted. His record is 15-1-1. He's a better human being than he is a fighter. He's donated almost every purse of his career, I think every purse of his career, to a charity he started called Fight to Walk, which was raising money for stem cell research and attempting to bring a cure to people that have paralysis and are unable to walk. Boyd's made a decision. He wants to turn his life over to public service, and he was looking forward to a retirement fight this month. Come on, people in the back, if you could quiet down. I can't hear myself think, which is the problem anyway. But Boyd was going to do a retirement fight in New York City. There's a big heroin problem in New York City right now, particularly in the borough of Staten Island. And Boyd wanted me to promote a show for him in New York City that would have been his retirement show and would have been a fundraiser for this charity that's fighting drug addiction and heroin addiction in Staten Island. Instead of that show occurring, Boyd is fighting Saturday night in Foxwoods, Connecticut. I urge you to come down. The Kovalev Ward fight will be there also if you want to see it, but I urge you to come down to see him fight. But it's really sort of pathetic that he has to leave his home and have his retirement fight in another state where the people that follow him and buy tickets for him and support his causes have to either drive 3.5 hours or not be there. It's terrible. And you know, this is, again, the impact of what Albany did to boxing. And I'd like to bring up United States Army Reserve Captain Boyd Milson.
So almost 6 years ago to the day, I had my very first fight in New York, and my purse, I donated $1,500. You fast forward to present day, 17 fights, boxing in New York or Atlantic City, almost all New York though, turned into $400,000 we've raised because of boxing in New York, and the fans in New York coming to support this vision. I came out of retirement right now because in Staten Island, through September, they had 74 reported deaths overdosing to heroin. 74. And they said the number may be 30% higher. I had a meeting with the DA out there, Mike McMahon. Called Lou, said, I need to do something. I got to make a change here. Now, here's the challenge. Again, if you're not a real big name in this sport, you have to sell tickets to generate a purse to donate. It's how it works. If A, then B. You take our legs away from us, we can't walk. Right now, I have to leave. I have to leave this state where the ticket sales would have flooded in. My purse is not as much. The amount of money I can give to help try to combat human beings who are dying, who are sick due to heroin, I can't generate. When it was in New York, 400,000 over 17 fights. So I'm forced to leave. I will do this. Nevertheless, the last thing I'm going to put this in. Shame on this policy for the people that made it for not doing their due diligence. Instead of choosing an arbitrary number, they should have met with the insurance underwriters and said, how much is the most you're willing to underwrite, and make that the amount before they arbitrarily pick a number. Should have made it $1 billion. Why $1 million? Why stop? You're paralyzing this sport in New York, and we will not stand for this. Thank you.
Heather just wanted me to give her apologies. Being a single mom, she's got to go pick up her daughter, so she's going to leave. Real life problems. Or not really problems, real life. And last, I'm going to close with a good friend of mine, and you know, she always does whatever she can to help boxing in New York, and her heart is always with the fighter. That's who she is. Her heart's always with the underdog. That's why I love her so much. My friend Rosie Perez.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everyone feeling? Okay, boxing is worldwide. You don't play American football in the Philippines, but you do box in the Philippines. You don't play baseball in sub-Saharan Africa, but they do have boxing leagues in sub-Saharan Africa. And the United States of America has contributed to boxing like no other. And that's saying a lot, especially with the UK. Okay? This sport I was raised on. This sport gave me the courage and the tenacity to know that I could overcome any type of obstacle there is. That's what boxing did for me. And that's why I'm here, because I want to give back to boxing. There are so many young boys and girls out there who are thinking about a boxing career, who don't have any other options, who live in neighborhoods where there is crime, who live in rural areas that there's nothing else to do. These young boys and girls want to put all their energy into this sport. How are we going to support them? How are we going to support them? What promoter are going to sign those young boys and girls, the next Mayweathers, the next Keith Thurmans, the next Danny Garcias? How are we going to support them when they're not going to be able to afford to sign them because of this insurance issue? Also, boxing is not the UFC. I have nothing against the UFC. I like the UFC. Ronda Rousey's my girl. One badass bitch. But the UFC is like a conglomerate. The UFC is like the NFL. It's like the umbrella of MMA. We don't have that in boxing. We have individual boxing promoters, individual boxing managers, individual boxing publicists. We have individual trainers. So each time they got to pay out. I don't want to reiterate that everything that everyone else says, but I want to say this. My heart swelled the first time I saw a fight at the Barclays. To be able to walk from my backyard, literally. Okay, I didn't walk, I had high heels. You know, I like to look cute for a fight. To take a car, 5 minutes, and go to the Barclays Center and see a match. That was Bernard Hopkins, right, versus Cloud. It was here. I got to toss up the ring. It was a dream come true for me. Don't take that away. Don't take it away from the fans. They're talking about the boxers and their livelihoods. That is 100% in jeopardy. But it's also the enjoyment of the boxing fan. I am the #1 boxing fan here in New York, maybe in all of America. I don't know. People unfollow me just because I tweet too much about boxing, and I will not stop. And I will not stop to fight for boxing. And I encourage each and every one of you, put your money where your mouth is. Go up to Albany. Write your councilman and woman. Write your assemblyman and woman, your senators, your congressmen. Go up there to the assembly. Stand in front of the assembly and say, this is not right. Do you know how much money boxing generates for the New York State, for New York City alone? It's mad money. It's Mad Mayweather money. He's gone and we're still bringing in the dough. Let's find the next Mayweather. Let's find the next Tyson. Let's find the next Mark Breland. And let's stand behind them and give back everything they've given to us. Just like my cousin Sixto has always said, boxers step in the ring and put everything on the line for our entertainment. It is time for us to stand up for those fighters now and forever. Save boxing. Thank you very much.
And last but not least, we're in strange political times, so it's easy to lose sight of the fact that we have some tremendous public servants working on behalf of us. I'm a guy from Brooklyn. I don't live in Brooklyn any longer, but I grew up here. This borough made me, and as far as I'm concerned, it's like being a lawyer or being the Pope. Once you're from Brooklyn, you're always from Brooklyn. And this gentleman is the borough president of this great borough. He was 22 years New York City police officer. He served in the New York State Senate for a number of years. And this guy's a credit to politics and to the borough he leads. We asked him to show his support and be here today. So it's my great pleasure to introduce the Honorable Eric Adams, the borough president of Brooklyn.
Thank you, and I always say I'm not the honorable, you are. I'm not elected to serve, I'm elected to serve. And you know you are on the right stage when you share a stage with Rosie Perez, who is really a voice of advocacy for so many important issues. We love you, and she's straight Brooklyn, straight Brooklyn. Two types of people in America, those who live in Brooklyn and those who wish they could, so you're all fortunate and lucky if you are. What needs to be said was said. Now it's a call for action. And we have witnessed what happens when you don't move, when the call for action is personified and mobilized. Too many people pass legislation and they are more focused on the paper that it is written on and not the people who are impacted by it. It is clear that New York State is the empire state where we build empires and not destroy empires, and we're destroying the empires of boxing. The fighters who make their way to this great Barclays Center spend hours and hours in the gym in small fighting venues where they must sell their tickets and inspire people to come and see them in their craft. If we don't do something about this piece of legislation, then those fighters will no longer have the aspiration and dream of fighting here in the city and state in which they love. That is wrong. That cannot happen. That is not what we do as New Yorkers. New Yorkers don't follow the agenda. We lead the agenda, and we have to lead it to make sure this legislation is done correctly. So, Lou, we join you. We're committed to adding our voice to this fight, but mobilizing to move this in the right direction, to have a fair way of protecting our fighters, but at the same time ensuring that we have the right insurance premium that would not break the sport. We don't want to knock out boxing in the state of New York, and that cannot happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. For members of the press, Alex Dombroff from my office is around. There are some other people around that know more about the legalities of this insurance issue. So if members of the press need any help, just grab me or one of my staff and we'll help you. Thank you all for listening. I urge you to call, to contact your local state senator, your local assemblyman. I urge you to contact the New York State Athletic Commission. I urge you to buy tickets for January 14th to show your support for boxing in New York. And when we do announce the undercard below the two co-featured bouts that we're going to announce today, you're going to see it's chock full of New York fighters, because we're going to put our money where our mouths are. Thank you all, and we're going to get started in a few minutes, hopefully. If we can get all the fighters on the dais, onto the dais. So Team Davis, Jack, Pedraza, DeGale. If we can get everybody up here on the dais, we're going to get started shortly. I'm going to pass it over to my friend Leonard Ellerby of Mayweather Promotions.
Just like Lou said, we'll get started shortly. Boys in the building. Apologize for the delay. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. That's all. Yeah, good.
So I'll just come up and I'll say
Yeah,
a few words about
yeah,
the show when I
yeah,
come up.
yeah, cool. Hey, Rosie, how you doing? Where's he at? Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we want to thank everyone for coming out today, and we apologize for the delay. We're really looking forward to bringing you this exciting event here to Barclays for the fans, and they will not be disappointed. This card is stacked from top to bottom, and we have some outstanding talent that will be coming to you on January the 14th. This event is promoted by Mayweather Promotions and DeGale Entertainment, and it will take place on January the 14th, live on Showtime at 9:30 p.m. Eastern and 6:30 p.m. Pacific from right here at Barclays. Our event is sponsored by Corona, and tickets are on sale now, and they start as low as $25. In the co-main event, we have the IBF Championship title fight, and it will have the undefeated Puerto Rican sensation, who's a great, great fighter, Jose Sniper Pedraza, and he'll be defending his title against Mayweather Promotions' up-and-coming young fighter, Gervonta Davis. In our main event, which will be headlined by Mayweather Promotions' own WBC super middleweight champion, Badou Jack, who will be fighting an outstanding champion and IBF super middleweight champion, none other than James Chunky DeGale. In addition to the numerous talents we have up here on the stage, I also want to acknowledge some very exciting up-and-coming talent and former fighters here from the New York area. In attendance, Danny Jacobs, the WBA middleweight world champion, Heather Hardy, the undefeated WBC super bantamweight and featherweight champion. Mark Breland, who's one of my all-time favorite fighters, former Olympic gold medalist from the 1984 team, 5-time New York Golden Gloves title holder. Junior Jones, former WBA bantam and super bantamweight title holder. Richardson Hitchison, 2016 Olympian representing from Haiti. Another great former champion, Iran Barkley, in attendance, who fought in a number of wars. Also, Shamil Pagan, 5-time Golden Gloves champion. Nisa Rodriguez, 5-time New York Golden Glove titles. Earl Newman Jr. Won the 201-pound open title here in New York, Golden Gloves champion this year. Also in attendance is our newly signed prodigy, amateur standout, Kenny Robles, who's here with his manager, Elvis Grant. Before we get to the fighters, I would like to introduce a few people, and they're very important introductions. First, I would like to introduce Eric Adams, from Brooklyn Borough President, and invite him up here to say a few words.
Thank you. Fight night in Brooklyn, USA. I think no more needs to be said. This is going to be a great opportunity. We really want to thank the team at Barclays for continuing to put on great performances here on the big stage in Brooklyn. Brooklyn has become an amazing destination, and we have a welcome mat for our fighters. Enjoy, be safe, and let's have a good fight night. Thank you very much.
Next up, I would like to introduce my dear friend. Brett, I couldn't bring you the big one, but got the next best thing. Brett Yarmick, he's the CEO of Brooklyn Sports and Entertainment, to come up for a few words.
Thank you, Leonard. I want to thank the media and the fans that are here today as we celebrate the return of boxing to New York. I want to give a big welcome to Floyd, a great friend and a boxing legend. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big hand to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd's been here to the Barclays Center several times, and we're thrilled that you're back. And obviously, you have an open invitation for number 50 here anytime you want it. I want to thank the borough president, Eric Adams, for being here today also, and for your support for boxing and for everything you do here at the borough. It's a pleasure to welcome James DeGale and Badou Jack to Brooklyn. I'm delighted that you'll be fighting here for the first time, and I'm confident that you will love the Brooklyn crowd. So welcome, gentlemen. I also want to welcome Gervonta Davis and Jose Pedraza, who will be fighting here in Brooklyn for the first time as well. As you know, there has not been a major boxing event at Barclays Center since Frampton beat Santa Cruz here in July. So we are proud to take the lead in bringing boxing back to New York. We're excited that January 14th will mark the first major boxing card in New York in 2017. I want to make it very clear that we are more committed than ever before to bring boxing back here to Brooklyn, and not just here at the Barclays Center, but at the soon-to-be renovated Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Long Island, which will open on April 5th. We'll host a lot of boxing there as well. A couple of other people I want to thank for being here. Rosie Perez, you heard from her earlier, a great fan of boxing and a wonderful partner to the Barclays Center. Obviously, Steven Espinoza and his Showtime staff for everything they do, not only for Barclays Center, but for boxing. Obviously, a special thank you to Lou DiBella. Lou and I have worked side by side in really establishing Barclays Center as a premier destination for boxing, so thank you, Lou. For those that are here today that want to buy tickets for the 14th, pre-sale opportunity is available at the box office. We look forward to seeing all of you in a couple of months. But before I leave, I've got a little special jersey for Floyd. Floyd, this is your Brooklyn Nets jersey. Okay, it's got number 49 on it. At some point in time, I'm going to change it to 50, but for now, take a look, okay? You hold that up there. Here we are, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, folks.
Next up, I would like to bring up the former 12-time world champion, 5 different weight classes, my partner, none other than the president of Mayweather Promotions, Floyd Mayweather.
How you doing? We back. What other better city than to be in than New York City? It was always one of my dreams and one of my goals was to fight in New York City. Even though it didn't happen, I'm able to be in a position to put other fighters in positions to go out there and entertain and give you guys what you want to see. It's all about blood, sweat, and tears. For years and years, these fighters have worked so hard and dedicated their lives to get to this point. I want to thank the media. I want to thank everyone that showed up. Mayweather Promotions, really appreciate you guys. We thank you guys for supporting us. We want to thank you guys for supporting our movement. Lou DeBella, I mean, such a great person, such a great guy, a gentleman. James DeGale, one hell of a fighter. Badou Jack, I'm so proud of you. Gervonta Davis, another fighter on the rise, just under the Mayweather Promotions banner. Only thing we're going to do is continue to build these fighters and help these fighters get to the highest heights. Steven Espinoza, there's so many different people, you know, that I want to touch on that helped me get to this point, that I'm able to give back to these young fighters. Brett, you know, thank you. I want to thank the Barclays Center. I want to thank the whole, you know, New York City, especially Brooklyn. We want to continue to do fights in this arena. We want to continue to bring championship boxing to New York City. I know, of course, that, you know, with 49 fights, most of my fights was in Las Vegas, Nevada, but we're here in Brooklyn, and we want to give you guys nothing but a great show. Another young champion right here, Jose Pedraza. We want to say thank you for the opportunity that you're giving my young fighter. What else can I touch on? What other subject can I touch on? There's so many, you know, young fighters on the rise, and hopefully we can just be a part of their career to help them get to that next level. It wasn't an easy role for myself. It wasn't an easy role for Leonard Ellaby, but I want to thank everyone. I want to thank my staff. I want to thank my team, and I want to thank the media for covering this press conference today. I'll see you guys in a couple months. Thank you.
Next up, I'd like to introduce my partner. He's our co-promoter, very dear friend. He puts on outstanding events, and this is our first time working with him and his staff, and we're really looking forward to January 14th. None other than Lou DeBella.
Thank you, Leonard. Leonard and Floyd really are old friends, and it's a pleasure to work with their company. This is the first time we've worked together, and they got a terrific staff working for them. Their people are really competent, high quality, and I'm really looking forward to this promotion. And I'm very grateful to Floyd and to Leonard, because I said this earlier you know, when I was talking about the insurance issue. But they didn't have to come into Brooklyn right now, in New York right now, when we're going through all this sort of confusion with the insurance laws in New York. But I believe Floyd Mayweather, when he said he got into this promoting game to be pro fighter and to give opportunity to young fighters the kind of opportunity that took him from nothing to one of the wealthiest athletes and most successful athletes in the world and in the history of boxing. So thank you. Thank both of you. And doing this event, the same way doing this event shows the commitment from Barclays Center and Brett Yormark and his staff to boxing in New York, the same way it shows Stephen Espinosa's commitment and the commitment of Showtime to boxing in New York and to New York fighters. It shows the commitment of Floyd Mayweather, Leonard Elvey, and Mayweather Promotions to what's good for all fighters, even fighters that aren't in their home state. So my gratitude to Floyd and to Leonard. And we're bringing you an unbelievable card on January 14th. It doesn't get much better than this. There is no better fight in this weight class than the man to my right. And Badou, I promoted Badou early in his career. I always knew he was a terrific fighter. He started hanging out at the Mayweather gym. He wanted to work with Floyd, so we worked something out. And Mayweather Promotions did a great job getting him to where he is right now. But as the case with every fighter, he did a great job of getting himself to where he is right now, which is a position as really one of the elite fighters in the world. And on the 14th of January, he's going to be fighting one of the elite fighters in the world, in James Chunky DeGale. So it doesn't get better than that. And the first fight, I'm proud that my champion from Puerto Rico's only male champion, and I'm lucky enough to promote Puerto Rico's only male champion, Jose Pedraza, and Puerto Rico's only female champion, Amanda Serrano, who's in this room right now. And Jose is taking it on as big a challenge as you could take on in a young, hungry, boisterous, cocky, confident kid in Gervonta Davis. So that opening fight figures to be a sensational fight. I want to bring you the man who's responsible for making those two fights, the man who runs Showtime Sports and put this card together, Stephen Espinosa.
Thanks, Lou. Before I get to my remarks, and I know you've been waiting a long time, so I'll keep it brief, I have a bit of housekeeping to do. I've had some hardware sitting in my office for quite some time, and it doesn't belong to me. It's actually Floyd's. So Floyd, if you would come up. I've been meaning to give this to you for, I don't know, about 6 months. It's the 2015 Sports Emmy for Outstanding Documentary Series for All Access Mayweather versus Badou.
How many?
Yeah, that's it.
How many Emmys now?
Oh,
4 or 5?
this, I believe, this is 4 Emmys with us. I think you might have had 1 or 2 at another network, with the other network, but I think this is 4 with Showtime. So you'll have to make some room on the trophy case. I know it's pretty full as it is. Thank you. Okay. As all of you know, Showtime is a premium TV network. Premium TV means our programming is special, it's unique, it's high quality. You don't just get it anywhere. And that's what this card is. It's unique, high quality, special. You don't see it every day. As an aside, these 4 fighters have made a combined 14 appearances on Showtime. That's from ShowBox to Showtime Extreme to Championship Boxing to even pay-per-view. So these are 4 fighters that we feel very attached to and very proud of. But to create and deliver special events, it takes commitment. And when you're committed to something, whether it's a cause, an idea, a goal, special things happen. Almost 4 years ago, Floyd Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions and Leonard Ellerbe made a commitment to Showtime. Together, we did some very special things. We broke records. We broke the records that we set before. We made history. It's no exaggeration to say that we did things that no one thought would ever be done. And now Mayweather Promotions is bringing us this special event. Also, almost about 4 years ago, Brett Yormark and Barclays Center made a commitment to the sport of boxing. And in those 4 years, Barclays Center has become one of the the busiest venues for boxing in the entire world, possibly the busiest. And Brett, I would categorize as probably the number one, well, I'll say number two fan, and I'll explain that in a minute, the number two most passionate advocate for boxing in New York City. And Brett, we thank you for that commitment, because that commitment to the sport of boxing has led us here today. Lou DeBella, that's the number one most passionate advocate fan of boxing in New York City. So those of you who know him know that passionate is a word that fits to a T. There's really, I think that's the word. And we have to acknowledge the critical role that Lou has played in bringing this event, and quite honestly, in elevating the sport of boxing in New York City for virtually his entire career. But most importantly, these boxers, the four young men on the stage today, these are some of the most talented and accomplished athletes in the sport. And they didn't get here without commitment. This is the best this sport has to offer. They're committed to excellence in their own careers. They're committed to taking on other accomplished athletes. We can't do special events without fighters who are willing to take on tough fights. And we have four of those fighters here on the televised portion, and a whole card full of those fighters on the night of the event. And we have to salute all of those fighters. No network is committed and as passionate as boxing as Showtime is. More fights, more platforms, more resources, more exposure to the sport than any other network. More importantly, the biggest and the best fights are on Showtime. It's not a question anymore. No other network is televising fights like these, top 5 versus top 5, champion versus champion, week after week, month after month. There's no better way for us to kick off another year of Showtime boxing with this great card here at the Barclays Center. We'll see you on January 14th.
Thank you, Stephen. Now on to the very exciting world title matchup fights. Life is about taking risks. And in the fight game, that's what we got to do in order to be the best. This next young man I'm about to introduce, me and Floyd made a decision that it's time. You know, sometime in life you have to step up, and this is what it's all about. You know, challenging yourself against the best, to see where you're at, going out and proving yourself to be the best. And in order to be the best, you have to fight the best. So this next young man, he comes to us from Baltimore, Maryland. Very, very exciting young fighter, straight killer, willing to fight anybody. And trust me, come January the 14th, he's looking to go in there and take Jose's title. That's his mission. And we feel very confident that come that night, he's going to take that title back to Baltimore. But in order to do that, he knows what lies ahead of him. He knows that he's facing a very, very tough champion. And we really appreciate Lou and Jose for giving us this opportunity, you know, because in life, if you don't get the opportunity to prove yourself, how can you do it? So without further ado, I'd like to bring up to the podium none other than Gervonta Tank Davis.
How y'all doing today? Thanks for having me. First off, I want to thank God. You know, without him, nothing would be possible. Second, I want to thank my promoter, you know, Leonard Allaby, Floyd Mayweather. Third, I want to thank my team, you know, my hometown, you know, for backing me, you know, all these years. Thank you, Joseph Pedraza, his team, his promoter. January 14th, I get my shot. 22, 16-0, 15 knockouts. It's amazing. You know, I know Joseph Pedraza is a great fighter. You know, I'm a great fighter. People going to say he had more experience, you know, but coming from my amateur background, 206 wins, 15 losses, over 20 belts. I won a lot of nationals. It's nothing Pedraza can bring to the ring that I didn't see before. I've been battle tested, in the ring, outside the ring, January 14th, I'm definitely coming home with that belt. He gonna have to kill me. Hamlin's gonna have to pick me up. Something gotta happen, cause I definitely be coming home with that belt. No other way. See y'all January the 14th.
There's no doubt that Gervonta Davis is a terrific young fighter. And when you have 15 knockouts and 16 wins, obviously you can punch. So the man presents danger. But on Team Pedraza, we're confident because we have a great champion. Jose's 22-0 with 12 KOs. The IBF Junior Lightweight World Champion. He was a 2008 Olympian representing Puerto Rico. He's now Puerto Rico's only reigning male world champion. Made 2 successful defenses of his belt so far with victories over Edner Cherry and Stephen Smith. And this will be his 3rd defense of his title. From Sidra, Puerto Rico, Jose the Sniper Pedraza.
Buenas tardes a toda mi gente de Nueva York. Muy agradecido de estar aquí presente. Muchas gracias a Ludivela, Mayweather Promotion.
Thank you to everybody here, my people from New York. Thank you to Ludivela, and thanks to Mayweather Promotions.
Primero que nada, tengo que decir que lamento mucho que Davis esté bajo la tutela de Mayweather, porque el día 14 de enero, cuando le quite el invicto a Davis, es como ganarle a Mayweather. Así que lamento mucho que esté bajo la tutela de Mayweather.
Says he would like to say that he's sorry for Davis being signed to Mayweather Promotion, because on January 14th, when he takes away his undefeated record, it's going to feel like he beat Mayweather.
Y si él dice que hay que matarlo para ganarle, muerto estará.
If he says that he has to be killed in order to beat him, then he's going to be dead.
Y me uno para salvar a Nueva York, para combatir la legislatura. Así que muchas gracias por esta gran oportunidad. Dios me los bendiga y nos vemos el 14 de enero.
I would like to say that I'm also very privileged to help with this cause, with the insurance deal with New York City. And I'm going to show that, I'm very happy to be here, and I'm going to be proud to represent my people. Thank you.
That's going to be a good one, huh? Yeah, this fight's already on. This is not the first time I've gotten to work with James Chunky DeGale. I was honored to be able to promote his fight with Andre Durrell, and to work with Team Chunky. They're good people. James DeGale is no accident. 2008 Olympic gold medalist for England. The IBF super middleweight world champion. Defeated Andre Durrell in his U.S. debut in what was a terrific fight, in a well-earned unanimous decision. He's made 2 defenses of his IBF belt. He beat Lucien Boutte in Canada, and he beat Porky Medina, but we're not going to talk about that one. He turned pro in 2009, is riding a 13-fight winning streak, and held pretty much every belt you could hold in the UK. Former WBA international, BC silver, whatever you have, Commonwealth champion, UK champion, all that kind of stuff, whatever. But now he's a world champion. He's got to take on another world champion. This is a fight as a fan I want to see. So it's my pleasure to bring up James Chunky DeGale.
Afternoon, everyone. Before I start, can I just thank my advisor, Al Heyman, Lou DeBella, TBE, Money Mate. Who else forgot to thank? Who else? Oh, Showtime and Sky Sports. Listen, this is, well, it's here, the big one. Me against Badou Jack, the best fighting the best. Number 1 against number 2. The champ versus the champ. This is crazy, it's on. New York's in for a treat, I swear to God. Listen, all jokes aside, Badou Jack is a very, very good fighter, tough fighter. He don't do nothing spectacular, but he's complete. He's complete. A good jab, good defense, works the body well. But I've just got that X factor. You know the X factor? Trust me. I've lost before, I'm not going to lose again. I've come too far in my life, I've come too far in my life to lose this opportunity. January the 14th, you lot in for a treat. New York, we're going in. Team Chunky, watch it.
Before I bring up our world champion, I would like to acknowledge Jill Diamond, who's here representing the WBC. Thank you, Jill, for coming out. Badou Jack. Can't say enough on how myself and Floyd and our whole team are very proud of this young man. He had a minor setback a few years ago. We told him and promised him, keep your head up, and the best is yet to come. 3 years later, here he is, fighting in New York City, headlining a Showtime card in the biggest fight, the unification fight, for all the marbles. This is what it's all about. He's the definition of what a true champion is all about. You know, I can recall when we first signed him, thanks to our friend here, Lou DeBella. We talked, had some very extensive...
And that wasn't one of my better moves.
We had some very extensive talks, and we had a game plan. And in boxing, you have to have a game plan. You can't listen to the naysayers and all those things. You have to stay focused, and that's what he's been able to do. You know, I can't say enough on the progress that he's made. You know, sometimes what happens is that when people become world champion, they become better, and it starts with the confidence. And with him being around Floyd and Floyd working with different things on him, you know, he's sat there and picked Floyd's brain, because at this level, a lot of it's mental. The physical part is great, but it's the mental preparation on knowing how to be a winner and staying a winner. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give a big round of applause to the WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the World, none other than Badou Jack the Ripper.
How's everybody doing? I want to thank God. I want to thank Floyd Mayweather, of course, Lou DeBella, Team DeGale, Showtime, and my trainer, Lou DeVal, the loud guy over there. He's the main reason for my improvement the last 2 years. And January 14th, going to be a hell of a fight. I've been begging Leonard the whole summer to get this fight made, and finally, Leonard and Floyd. It is finally here, and I'm excited. He's a real deal. He's a road warrior. He come to America to fight the best. You know, I proved that I'm the best too. So the two of the best are fighting each other, and it's going to be a hell of a fight. But it's all but I'm the number one. And now I respect James DeGale. All jokes aside, we can joke. There's no hard feelings and there's no disrespect. But come fight night, it's business. And we got, and May of the promotion, we got a little gift for James DeGale because, hold on.
Let me see my gift. Let me see my gift. Money May, let me see it. I don't know what the gift. What's that? What's that? Diva DeGale. I like that, man. Let me put that on now. Diva DeGale. Let's go. Diva DeGale. Diva DeGale, bro. Diva DeGale.
Show it to the camera.
Come on, look. Diva DeGale.
Turn it, turn it.
Diva DeGale. I like that, bro. Maybe about TV, we do it, you know. We do this.
See you January 14th.
Let me stick it out. Wait, the king. It's all wrong. You should have got me a crown. That's what you should have got me. You should have got me a crown. You do this, bro. You could never try and abandon me because I go in like this. Never try and abandon me. I love this. Good shit.
I'd like to thank you to all the fighters here on the stage. We're really, really excited and looking forward to fight night on January the 14th. And I'd like to thank all who have joined us today. We will be back here at the Barclays, and we're really, really excited. We have a tremendous card, like for the fighters to come up and pose for photos. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the champ.